Welcome in everyone to another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. I'm your host Lawson Turner, per usual, and I apologize for not recording and getting my reactions to Saturday's game out yesterday. I was a bit under the weather. It's allergy season, but the show must go on. So let's dive right into the. We're going to be doing the Western and Eastern Conference Game 1 reactions, thoughts, concerns, things that the teams can do today. So let's get straight into the first game of the Western Conference. Game ones, that was the Timberwolves and the Suns. This game, it shocked me as to how it ended out, how the score ended, and Anthony Edwards taking over in the third quarter. The Timberwolves won not just this game squeaking by, they won this game convincingly, 120 to 95. I knew that the Suns were going to have a hard time defending, but the third quarter explosion from Anthony Edwards is really what the big one of the biggest differences in this game. He said in the past that Kevin Durant is his goat, his greatest player of all time, and he wanted to show up, show out, and he was nothing short of sensational. 18 of his 33 in the third. It was a nip and tuck game throughout. The Timberwolves were up 10 at halftime, and then Anthony Edwards said, "We're up 10 at half. I'm going to double that going into the fourth." And they led by 20 going into the fourth. And from that point on, they were just playing catch up. KD started out hot, though. He, in the first 10 minutes, he had 11 of his 31 points, which is, it's good to see KD be aggressive. And he was very, very efficient. 11 for 17, 2 for 3 from 3, missed 2 free throws, but that comes with the game. You can't make every shot. He did have 5 turnovers though, and was a minus 20, which that's gonna limit his team's chances to win. Now, Devin Booker was, I'm not gonna say another show. 5 of 16. We've seen Devin Booker have his ups and downs in the playoffs. We've seen him be one of the best playoff performers in the NBA, and then we see him not lay an egg because 18 is not bad, but when you're expected, when you average 27 on the year and you get held to, 12 points under your average, it's kind of a whoa. This Minnesota defense is legit, and it was legit all year. And he shot 5 of 16, very inefficient. Just these Timberwolves, they made it tough. They made it tough on everyone except Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant's gonna get his shot over anybody, and on most possessions, he can get whatever shot he wants. I think Rudy Gobert played an outstanding game. Now, he didn't block any shots, but 14 and 16, including 6 offensive rebounds against a team in which I thought Yusuf Nurkic was going to be big. I thought he was going to have to play big. I thought he was going to not play more of a facilitating role, but I thought that he could orchestrate a handful of offensive possessions if the Suns needed a bucket just to dump it down and run some off the ball action with Booker, Durant, try and get a couple switches and favorable matchups. But the thing with this Timberwolves team, it's like all of them play hard. They all play hard. They all play smart. Not a lot of crazy like everyone knows their role and they play it almost to a T. You have your star, you have your 3-and-D defenders, you have a rim protector, and you have, not saying Karl-Anthony Towns is the mismatch that Kevin Durant is, but like he had a good game, and this is only his what eighth game back, ninth game back. 19, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He only shot the ball 9 times, but made more than half of them. So 1 for 2 from three. I could see him starting to, pick it up as the series goes on. I did pick the Suns, and I think the Suns are going to bounce back in game two and tie it up. But it's going to be so tough because when Cat or Gobert leave, they just throw in Nas Reed, and he's a he's a finalist for the Sixth Man of the Year, award, and rightfully so. I've got no problems with it. He was outstanding all year long, and like this team, I don't know what to make of these teams because I thought this could be the series of the first round. I thought it could be awesome. Stars going back and forth, a young team against a old veteran offensive team. I thought this would be the definition of okay, offense versus defense, and defense dominated in game one, as you know the old cliche is defense wins championships, and the fact that Minnesota kind of hammered Phoenix, they just went on like, pardon me, like from the 7:03 mark to the 2-second mark in the third quarter. The Timberwolves going on a 21-5 run, and then in the fourth, 13-3 and 13-2 in two separate runs. That was kind of the nail in the coffin, and I think that this was Anthony Edwards coming out party. Now, if he can limit turnovers, pardon me, I got a nose was itchy. um, and we're gonna get into Paulo Banchero next video. The fact that these younger players they play loose and they play free, which is good, but can also be bad because you're not gonna win a series averaging 6 turnovers a game. Those got to be down 1 to 2 at most, 3 due to he has the ball in his hand so much. 6 assists, is good for an offensive player such as Anthony Edwards is. He's great in transition, good enough in the half court. Uh, but that's kind of my thoughts. It's like Phoenix just came out flat. Like other than Durant, it was like nobody else wanted to. I apologize. No one else was really prepared. I mean, Beal played a good game for his role. Booker was Booker underperformed. Yusuf Nurkic, who, like I mentioned earlier, I thought he was going to be key because he's like their only big. And subpar game. Grayson Allen, who shot the ball outstanding all year long, was 0 for 3 from 3 this year. I mean, I say this year, this game, he didn't make a three, and you kind of see him in the he he's gonna be big as well due to he's probably gonna be the main defender guarding Anthony Edwards. So if he can limit Ant-Man to his averages like around that 26, 27 point range, try and make it a little bit more difficult than what it was this game because this game he was getting whatever he wants. I mean, he shot the ball 24 times, made more than half his shots, and that's about it. Like there was nothing crazy to his game. It was just a Anthony Edwards masterclass. The 33, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. And Nikhil Alexander Walker, sometimes, the stutter can, kind of take over as it's gone through the first part of this video. He's been outstanding through the first game. I thought he did a good enough job on, Kevin Durant making it difficult. He shot 7 to 12 from the floor, 4 for 9 from 3, chipped in 18 points. And Mike Conley, that was a I don't know what the hell kind of game that was. 2 for 12, 0 for 3 from 3 and 5 personal fouls. He did have 7 assists, which he's kind of, one of their orchestrators. Um this series is gonna be outstanding, and I'm here for it. Game 2 of that series is tomorrow night, and we will get into that, you know, more tomorrow. Let's swing to my Lakers. My Lakers. They started out great, double-digit lead in the second quarter, looking like they're actually, they can pull this off and steal game one. And in the past, we know, oh my goodness, excuse me. In the past, we know this is a LeBron James feel-out game. Most game ones in series are. But the fact that they were up 8 after the first quarter, and they were up 12 in the second, and then when I was watching this game, I knew that this game's gonna be, can, like, the Lakers have this double digit lead. Can they withstand and hold on to when Denver makes their run? Because Denver's a championship level team. We know they are long. We know they're athletic. We know they have arguably the best player in the world right now, playing the best in Nikola Jokic. But Lakers came out strong and aggressive, unless your name was Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, but we'll get into that at a later point in time here in a couple minutes. But with all that being said, like, it was still a nip and tuck game throughout. After the Nuggets went on a 10-0 run in the second quarter to really cut it down, I thought that this was going to be, I thought it was going to be tight, and it was tight for many stretches in the second half. This, like, we can't beat this fucking team, dog. We, for whatever reason, we just can't beat them. I don't know if the moment's too big for our role players. I don't know if just this is the first series in LeBron's, well, if unless you're counting last year's Western Conference Finals, which I get it. This is probably the first series in LeBron's career that when he's on the court, he's not the best player. And, considering his age and his time in the league, that's a testament to how great he's been all his entire career. But it's like, damn, we've seen LeBron take over a series and games and finals games, but LeBron just got tired in the fourth. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like, if there was a game to steal, unless it's going to be tonight because game 2 is tonight, this was the game to steal. Like, Anthony Davis, 44 minutes, LeBron, 40, D'Lo, 41, even though he shot 6 of 20. Like, D'Lo, can you give me one good game against this squad, please? And Darvin Ham, I have a bone to pick. You know more basketball than me in your pinky nail than I do in my whole body. But why are we playing Torian Prince 9 of the 12 fourth quarter minutes? Like, that shit right there. I was like, why? I don't know. I got no idea. Like, to they have lost 10 straight mother loving games against this team. Push your chips in for game 1. Push them in, try and steal a game. The first game. The hardest game. Well, not the hardest, because if this goes the distance, which I think it could, a Nuggets closeout game will be the hardest. But, like, I don't understand. Like, and Gabe Vincent, 7 minutes, 3 fouls, pitiful. And, like, KCP wasn't doing much in the first half, and then in 12 minutes he played the whole third quarter and scored all 12 of his points, all threes. Like, it's not that we don't know what this team is going to do. The Nuggets, when it's time, they're gonna spam Jamal Murray pick and roll, and I get it. Lakers don't seem to have an answer, and this is like, it's like the perfect team for their skill set. You have Aaron Gordon, who's one of the most unique bodies in the NBA, 6'10", long, freakishly athletic. You have Michael Porter Jr., long, 6'10", 6'10", 6'11", sniper. He has one of the prettiest jump shots I've ever seen. Jamal Murray, great playoff performer. You saw and playmaker. You saw him dish out 11 assists in game one. And then I don't even have to mention what Jokic does. You know, 32, 12, 7 assists, 2 steals, crazy efficient from the floor. Like, Jamal Murray shot under 38%, which is what you in the Western Conference Finals last year. He averaged 35 on, 50, 40, 90. And you made it tough. 9 for 24, that's 37.5%. That's great. But you just couldn't hold on. And when the Nuggets made their run, because it went on a 10-0 run in the second quarter, and then a 13-0 run in the third quarter, you just had no answer. Like you had none, and this was the game to steal because both your superstars played. You know, I thought LeBron played good out and out. I will say one thing though, LeBron, and you know this. I don't have to say this. He had 7 turnovers in game one. You can't have that. We can't have that. As we as in Lakers fans. It's tough because 27-6-8's a good box score. Like this, LeBron's gonna get probably this stat line damn near every game, however long the series goes. This is not a, this is nothing new to us. LeBron's gonna get his. But Austin Reeves, 5 of 9's not bad. 2 for 6 from three. But it like there were moments where like I thought his feet were flat. I thought he just didn't look engaged. I don't know what the case may be. I don't know what the hell that was from D'Angelo Russell. And we've seen D'Angelo Russell just be aggressive, and I get it. You know what, D'Lo, be aggressive. Look for your shot because everyone else is gonna get theirs. But like 13 points on 6 of 20, 1 for 9 from three. Like what the hell are we doing? And I'm not gonna, like, oh, I need more from Rui. Like 7 points. He had 7 points, 2 for 4 from the floor, 1 for 3 from three. I mean, 1 for 2 from three. Made both his free throws. Rui's there for that athletic forward, long, rangy, can stretch the floor enough. And it's just we can't beat this fucking team. AD, keep doing what you're doing. You shot 0 for 4 from three. It is what it is. You're not the best 3-point stretch bigs. I will live with that 100 times out of 100. That's if you're getting good looks, you're is what it is. I expect the Lakers to bounce back tonight because Game 2 is at 10 o'clock tonight on TNT or Max if It's annoying. It's fucking annoying. Now for the other team in LA, as we transition into the game, the two Western Conference games that happened last night or yesterday, the Clippers beat the dog piss out of the Mavs. They just absolutely, from the opening tip, it was the Clippers took the lead and never looked back. Never looked back. They were up at one point. They were up 29 early in the third quarter. Like what the? I don't know. And no, if there was no Kawhi Leonard, which there wasn't, the second I saw Kawhi got rolled out for game one, I'm like, okay, Mavs could go into LA, and this is the third time you're matching up against this team in 5 years, and there's no Kawhi for game one. You could go in here, you could steal game one, and then in theory, you don't have to win another game in LA. Just win all your home games, protect home court, and you're fine. But no, James Harden, a throwback James Harden performance, 28, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 for 17, which that's not crazy efficient, but he was 6 for 11 from three, and he was wheeling and dealing, and it was awesome to watch. And like Daniel Gafford got when Daniel Gafford got in foul trouble early in the first quarter, 3 minutes, 2 fouls. I was like, shit. Well, they're gonna bring in Lively, who he's a good rookie, athletic, but he doesn't have enough bricks in his pockets to keep Zubats off the glass or down low. And Derek Lively is a good rim protector. And we saw this fool Zubats 20 and 15, 20 and 15. Like he was outstanding too. Like Harden, great. Zubats, outstanding. Paul George, 8 for 20, 22 points, 4 for 12 from three. I mean, he took over late, which is, when your superstar and Kawhi is out, you're gonna need your other players to step up, and Paul George stepped up late when it mattered. And Harden was controlling, tempo that we know James Harden can do. And Russell Westbrook off the bench was awesome. 23 minutes, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 for 4 from 3. Outstanding. Outstanding. Was making great hustle plays. Now, granted, he had just as many turnovers as assists, but you'll live with that when you shoot 50% from 3. They shot 18 of 36 from 3 as a team, and Terrence Mann was flying in there and grabbing rebounds out the wazoo. Now to transition to the Mavericks side, Luka played like ass and still ended up with 33, 13, and 6. 4 for 12 from 3 and 11 for 26 from the floor and 4 turnovers. Like, Luka just did a Luka-ish game. I mean, 42% from the floor. We've seen Luka be more efficient than that. I thought he just looked disengaged and that he was settling as opposed to getting into the lane and getting your feet in the paint. And, you know, it's just. And Kyrie in the third quarter did what he could. He played all 12 minutes of the third, scored 20 points, made all 8 of his shots, including 2 threes and 2 free throws. And it just wasn't enough. Like, the only other Maverick in double digits was, PJ Washington with 11. No one. It was like I could just go through the box score. Luka 33, Kyrie 31, PJ Washington 11. Then it was like Derek Lively 3 points, Kleba 3 points, Josh Green 4 points, Tim Hardaway 6 points, Derek Jones 0, Dante Exum 3, Gafford 3. Like, it's Luka and Kyrie, and can 2 other players come for the ride? I don't know if Kawhi's gonna play in game 2. I don't. Do the Clippers? I don't know. I'm not in the building. I, this is gonna look back as a damn game, cause like, no Kawhi, and we lost and got beat the fuck up in. Damn. That's it. That is flat out it. It was a shocker to me. Zubats controlled the boards and damn near everything down low. He had half his points in the first quarter. I and as someone who picked the Mavs, it's just like, well, damn, you know, this team is I don't know. I mean, I think the Mavs can still pull it out, but it's gonna be tough because now you're down a game, and Kawhi is only gonna get healthier, and we could see him in game 2. Now, let's transition to the last game of the night, or the last Western Conference game 1. This was awesome. This It's what playoff basketball is, and I was loving every second of this Thunder game. The Thunder edged the Pelicans 94-92 off of just the everything that could go wrong for the Thunder went wrong late in the game. Everything. You want to talk about clutchness? Shea had it extremely late. Extremely late. They were up. They were up. Semi big in the fourth. Double digits, and then the Pelicans gone a 18-6 run over the course of 7 minutes, and then it's a 2-point game late, and then it ends up being a tie game with just under a minute left, and Shea gets a clutch and one, and the rest is basically history. Chet missed a big free throw after the Pelicans had to foul, which kept it to a 2-point game. And I just want to give a shout out to Case and Wallace because he had a slight deflect. So to set the stage, 2-point game, ball in McCollum's hands. They get the switch. Case and Wallace switches on to CJ, and he tips the ball as CJ is going to drive and get his foot in the mid range and get not his foot get into the mid range where CJ is one of the best players in the NBA at getting into the mid range and getting his shot as he hit a turnaround to cut the lead to 2 possessions prior. And he got a deflection, and CJ regains possession and leads to a lean in one, legged floater three that rims out. Well, it doesn't rim out, this game was awesome. It was fun to watch both these two young teams battling it out and going through the motions. Like Shea had timely turnovers in the fourth down the stretch. The Pelicans just Brandon Ingram 37 minutes played, still coming back off his, knee injury, which I don't, I'm not gonna kill him for. I mean, he had 12 points, 5 of 17, and the Thunder at one point just said, "Lou Dort, go get him and stick him," and they did. He did. He stuck Brandon Ingram and made it difficult, and he was inefficient. 5 of 17, that's sub 30%. And Trey Murphy the third was the only big reason they were still in the game. He hit 5 threes and was coming up with every time the Pelicans needed a shot, a score. Every time I was watching the game, I'm like, oh damn, Pelicans need a big shot. Trey Murphy just smacks a 26-footer, and it's just like, well, can OKC hold on? And when it got tied with a minute to go, I'm like, well, shit. We're gonna see how these two young teams, do they arise or do they crumble? And Shea got the clutch and one with just under a minute to go, and that was all. Well, not all she wrote, due to a few late game heroics by CJ to keep the game close. The biggest thing for me though, Chet had no answer for Jonas Valanciunas. No answer. He grabbed 20 boards. There was no answer for him. I like Chet. I think he's going to be good for a long time. But it was a weight thing. Jonas is a big body and Chet's slim and slender. And it was like every time they needed something down low early, just throw it to Jonas in the post and back Chet down because he just doesn't have the bricks in his pocket to hold you down. He was also doing a good job. He generated 9 offensive rebounds, including 2 in the fourth that were big time, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. The atmosphere was great. Both teams played with their hair on fire. They both were ready, but it came down to clutch time late, and Shea pulled it out. Chet, good game. 15, 11, 5 blocks. awesome. Shai, 39 minutes, 28 points. 11-24 is meh. But overall, it was a great game, and I'm excited for game two of that series. And game two is Wednesday. Game two is Wednesday. There'll be two games in between. I mean, there'll be 2 days in between games, which both teams should be well rested and play outstanding basketball. Well, we got some great games. We had four good games. The Mavs game just ended up being a blowout. The Nuggets game was, close back and forth. Suns T-Wolves was back and forth until Ant-Man exploded, and the Thunder proved that they had more of a clutch gene than the Pelicans did late. I'm excited. The only Western Conference game tonight is Lakers Nuggets at 10. And I'm excited, and I can't wait to go through. I can't wait to watch that game and then review it and do a review for tomorrow. Well, that's about all I have for the Western Conference Game 1 reviews. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm Lawson Turner for the Cover 2 podcast, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.